We are open. Hey, you guys. We are open. Yes, honey. I didn't order me a little cute little handmade fan. And yes, it's Valentine's Day love. So we are open for business, but not with Sherlock. We're not open with I guess we are. We're not with the Scooby Doo Detective Agency. We with a pup named Scooby Doo Detective Agency. So I'm gonna put this up. Sorry, y'all. And we are going to get started. So we today are going to do Cam Jansen, and this is called and the cake and the wedding cake mystery. So we're gonna do Cam Jansen today because we're gonna take it a little slow. It's the day before Valentine's Day, and we really need to kind of pace ourselves for love. Even though there's no love in this story, we're gonna pretend like there was love there for Valentine's Day. Scott's here, you guys are here, I'm here, we're here. We got a cat in the background that's about to get thrown out the house. Everybody's here. The fans here, we're here. Okay, so Scott, now you got one Cam Jansen out the way. What do you think this one's going to be about besides a wedding cake?
Yeah, I don't know, but it seems to go in line. We had diamonds the other day, a wedding today.
Yes, that's why I'm wearing my all white, because I'm pretending to be a bride. I have my bouquet. It's a fan though. Okay, so anyway, so let's get started. So Cam Jansen. Now this time we got an extra character, if you can see in the picture. So Cam Jansen, her friend Eric, then we got another little guy, Danny, and her dad are all in the car driving. They're driving, they're doing things. They're driving, and I want y'all to pay attention to this picture. Scott, are you paying attention to this picture? Get a good look. You're gonna get one more. Because guess what? We got some questions in the back to answer about that picture.
Okay.
So they're driving in a car, Cam Jensen's showing off her photographic memory. She got that going for her. And they're getting down to the senior center because they like to go. There's a talent show there. And they also just like to go and support. So you know what? Hashtag support your local volunteer stuff. You should totally support it. Scott and I do. We go and do woods cleanup and stuff like that. We support. Scott likes to do a lot of races. Got to support your local community. If not you, then who, right? So, they're going down to support, the senior center. So they get there and there's a lady up front. She's a photographer. She's taking pictures and she's like, oh my God, I want to just get this moment together for the senior center. They hired me. We got to capture these moments. So Cam Jensen's like, baby, I'm a camera too. I got my own camera. I am the camera. So she's walking around like, okay, pose for the camera, click. Pose for the camera, click. She's walking around clicking away. And so after a while, the dad is like, oh, we got to get into, sorry, I'm doing my light bright. Not doing a good job though. So dad's like, okay, let's get in here because we got to get ready for the talent show. And wait, did I say all the people that were with them? Danny, Eric. Yeah, I did say it. Okay, so they get in there. Now, also a cake truck pulls up. It's a cake maker. It's a baker. He pulls up. And I guess he's supposed to be delivering some cookies and cakes and little desserts for their event. So he comes in and, he's setting up stuff. So little Danny is over here getting super excited. And he's taking all the cakes and the cookies and stuff. And he's over here telling really bad jokes. And he's like, oh, my thing for the talent show is going to be jokes. So dad's like, let's go up, get in here. Stop eating all the cookies and stuff. You putting crumbs everywhere. Get your little butt up there and tell them little stale bad jokes. So he gets up there. He tells his jokes. They're not good. Them seniors are just sitting there blinking at him. Honey is crickets. So whatever. So then the next act gets up there and they're jugglers and they're juggling and whatnot. So, everything's going on. The seniors are, they happy to have these little young people around them. Well, all of a sudden, the baker goes out to his truck because he got to go because, honey, he got a wedding to go to. He got a wedding. He got a big old wedding cake in there. And the photographer lady, she's like, yeah, I got to go too because I'm at the same wedding. So we gotta hop to it, baby. We got to hop to it. Well, the baker guy is like, oh man, I can't find my keys. I was so busy getting all these cookies and cakes and pies and stuff out of my truck. I can't find my keys. Y'all help me find my keys. And I just wanted to do a little light shout out. You ready for the shout out, Scott?
I'm ready.
Shout out to my dad.
All right.
R.I.P. to him. Tomorrow's his birthday, but I remember as a little girl, my dad would never have his keys before he went to work. We would all be scrambling around looking for that man keys before he went off to work. This reminded me of my dad. So shout out to my dad, huh?
That reminds me of you.
ADHD runs in the family. So shout out to ADHD being genetic. So anyway, they're running around trying to find the keys, and finally the photographer lady finds them and she's like, you didn't left them in the door. You left them in the truck door. Now, come on, let's get going. So the guy opens the door. Dun, 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 dun. Guess what? The wedding cake missing.
Oh.
Yeah. The wedding cake is missing. So he's like, oh my God. The wedding is happening in like 3 hours. I need to have this wedding cake. It took me like 4 days to get all this stuff ready. It's like a super tall cake. What am I supposed to do? So Cam Jansen's like, well, I was taking pictures with my mind. So let me go through my memory and see if I can think of anything that I thought was suspicious. Click, 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 click. But nothing's coming. So finally somebody was like, let's call the police, which I find interesting. Like, would they come if you missing a cake? Like, Scott, do you think the police come? Like, if our cake go missing, do you think if I called the police, they would take me serious?
I don't know. That would be an odd one.
I mean, wedding cakes are expensive, so maybe it's an expensive wedding cake. Who knows? So they call the police. And so here come the police, and, they explain the situation. These police took it serious. I don't know if I was a police officer, if I would take a wedding cake missing. I'd be like, well, baby, it was going to be missing anyway once y'all cut into it and served it. So why don't you go down to Publix and just go buy some cake and slam dunk it together and say that's the wedding cake? I know it's his profession, but what do you do in desperate times? So, they decide, let's go knocking on everybody's door and see, if they know anything. Now, by the way, the seniors, they start talking about the seniors that are at the senior center. Now, mind you, this talent show is still going on. You probably still got Danny up there telling bad jokes. I know we moved on to juggling, but Danny thought he was just super hilarious. So, they were like, I kind of don't care about what's going on over there. What's going on out there? Because, they probably don't get that much, entertainment like that. So they all looking out the window like, girl, looking like 227, like, girl, what they got going on out there? Why the police out there? Even if I wasn't in the senior center, I feel like I would still be looking out the window. What about you, Scott?
Probably, yeah.
Ain't got nothing else to do. Might as well see what's going on. So the senior people are walking with the police. So they walking with us. And, they like, oh, that's Miss, whatchamacallit house. She can't hardly walk, so I don't think she took the cake. And that's Jim Bob house. He kind of mean, so maybe he took the cake. So they over there instigating. So nonetheless, the police go knocking on a couple of doors and nothing happened. Except for one of the neighbors was like, I do remember, no, one of the neighbors said, well, which truck are you referring to? And so the police were like, wait, there was more than one truck? So this is where Cam goes back into her memory again. It was like, oh yeah, there were 2 trucks. And the other truck was like wild turkey in, some company, and she was like, it's the Wild Turkey Inn Corporation. That was the other truck. And so they're like, okay, well, we can't be up here. It was like Wild Turkey Inn Plumbing or something. So they were like, well, honey, we don't, like, that could be anybody's truck. We don't know. And we don't even know if that person took it. But Cam Jansen was like, something is missing here. She really, this is the second story I don't think she needed her photographic memory for, by the way. I think she just likes to flaunt it, honey. If you got it, flaunt it. Like this fan. So, so, you know, she's like, there's something missing here. There's something missing. We going door to door. The police are making excuses for this truck, but there's something missing. And so all of a sudden her dad was like, you know, those wet cakes are expensive because they so big and blah, blah, blah. Like her dad's just talking. And she was like, boom, period. There it is. I got it. Here it is. She was like, it had to be the Wild Turkey in Plumbing truck, because how would a cake that big fit in the car? Period. It's a wet cake. And my daddy told me that it took like, they had like hundreds of slices of cake with that cake. How is something that big gonna fit in a regular car? And how is Miss, you know, whatchamacallit over there? She barely walking, baby. How she gonna take that big old cake? Why are we knocking on doors when we need to be looking for the Wild Turkey Inn Plumbing truck? So Cam goes back into that photographic memory and she's like, boom, I remember the number on the side of the thing all of a sudden. So they call the dude. Well, no, they don't even call. They go up there and bam, they didn't found the cake. The dude stole the cake because the other man left the keys in the door, and this dude just got sticky fingers, was like, ooh, baby, I like cakes and pies. I'm gonna steal a whole wedding cake and put it in my truck, which is probably smashed. Because if you just got plumbing stuff in there.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it's gonna fare very well.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted that wedding cake. I'd be like, do it over, because I don't want that wedding cake. It's been near plumbing stuff. And you know what plumbing stuff is. It has to do with sewage. I don't want my cake in a truck that got sewage on there. They got instruments that work on sewage in there. Would you, Scott?
No, it doesn't sound very healthy. But, you know.
We need to rename this story to Cam Jansen and the biohazard mystery. What's in your cake? So, you know, that kind of ended. I forgot a few little key pieces in there. Now, little Danny over there with them bad jokes, he reminded me of Fred in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, because he was always accusing people that had absolutely nothing to do with it. And in The Pup Named Scooby-Doo, they got this character called Red Herring. And Fred's always like, I know who it was. I know who it was. It was Red Herring. Red Herring ain't got nothing to do with it. All them people that Danny was talking about ain't have nothing to do with it. He needed to focus on them jokes and not solving crime, because Cam Jansen got photographic memory for that. Additionally, Danny was a problem in this story for me. Danny kept eating up all the cakes and pies because he's like, well, these seniors gonna get all the cakes and pies before me. Sir, this is not about you, but you making it about you. Whatever. So Danny was a bit much for me. He was doing a bit much in this book. So yeah, they solved it. The dude in the plumbing truck took the cakes and pies because he saw a key in the door, and they never gave the motive. They just said he stole it. And I was just like, period. He stole the cakes and pies. Maybe he ain't making enough, and maybe that was dinner for the night. We don't know. Maybe he hates weddings. Maybe he had a bad marriage. We don't know. Now, to the questions that are in the back of the book. This is going to be a short one. Okay, so the back of the book has some questions about the story, but not about the story. So take another look at the picture opposite page 1. Study it. Blink your eyes and say click. Then turn back here and answer the questions. So everybody going to do it with us. No pressure, y'all. Okay, this is for y'all. Scott, don't be cheating. Scott cheating.
I'm not allowed to look at the picture.
I'm going to show it to you separate. Okay, look. You better say click. Y'all better say click too. Where's the click?
Click.
Scott said click and cheated. And kept looking. You said click, blinked, and then kept looking.
Well, he's still home.
Scott said cheated. Okay. Question number 1. There are 6 questions. Who are the 2 people sitting in the front seat of the car?
The dad and Cam.
Period. Scott got one right. Yay. Here, you get a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you get a breeze too. I think you got it right. Okay, question 2. Is Cam wearing a seatbelt? Now, this is like the 80s and 90s, yes, so it's a toss-up. Yes, you get a breeze. How many children are sitting in the back seat?
3.
Period. Scott is 3 for 3 here. He's getting fanned. He's getting fanned. I'm his fan. How many cars are in the picture?
I only remember seeing the one that they were in.
That's the right answer. Yes, you're getting fanned. Everybody's getting fanned. Not this cat. How many houses are in the picture?
Oh,
you said click. You supposed to have photographic memory.
Yeah, there's at least 1, 2, maybe a third.
There were 4. Okay, but that's okay. You'll get a fan anyway for participating. Last question. Does Mr. Jansen have both hands on the steering wheel?
No.
He does, actually. But you get a fan anyway. Thank you guys for participating and coming. This was such a fun time. So Scott tells me I'm bad at this. Oh, wait. We got lessons learned. I'm sorry. I forget this every time. Told you ADHD got passed down to me. Scott, what lessons did you learn from this story?
That I do not have photographic memory.
Period. Me either. I don't even have like short-term memory, so God knows long-term ain't my thing either. Do you have any other lessons learned?
Don't eat the cake at that wedding.
You gonna get hepe. Okay, is that it? Or do you have more? Okay. For me, lessons learned. You know what? I don't think I even have any lessons learned from this. I think don't steal. Don't steal people's stuff. Don't steal. Also, don't get so busy that you forget to lock the door or take the key out the door because people will steal. So, And also, Danny was a bit much. Danny was giving Fred vibes. Don't be Fred, don't be Danny, period. If your jokes ain't hitting, just let it go. Those are the lessons learned. Did you have anything else, Scott, that you wanted to share with us?
Do not.
Okay, period. So I'm going to tell you guys, like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for being here. It was such a pleasure. And from wherever I am to wherever you are, peace, love, and happiness. And until next time, which is going to be like tomorrow. That's the final day of the everyday showing love. So from wherever we are to wherever you are, peace, love, happiness, and thanks for showing up. You guys have the best evening or whatever time of day it is where you are.